Paulo Costa is my guy. Dating back to The Ultimate Fighter Season 3, Brazil. Now, for the 20 million of you that followed that, yes, your memory is correct. He was on Vanderlei's team. But we were all that, but that wasn't how that worked. I know that's the way that it gets presented for TV, my guys versus Vanderlei guys. It's not like that. They were all my guys. And I hope that Vanderlei could say the same, but I'm just sharing. We were all there to help one another. And Paulo Costa, not only did he not win a fight, starts in the quarterfinal round. So not only did my team beat him in the quarters, I can't remember who we used to beat him. I believe we used Lyoto, but Paulo Costa did not know how to fight at that time. This is a story of preservation, of hard work, and of not accepting anything other than greatness from yourself. So the way this works, they fight to get into the house, right? That's how that used to be done back then. Vanderlei and I are sitting in a room as coaches. We don't ever get to go in the back. We do not get to go know who's coming out, who's walking out. We don't get to say hi to them first. We get nothing. The moment they come through the back and they get in the ring, Dana's assistant will come and she will set a sheet in front of me and she will set a sheet in front of Vanderlei, and it was a bio. And they were long. Black belt, 7-2. Black belt, 9-1. Jungle fight top contender, jungle fight champion, WEC veteran, Dana White Contender Series consideration, whatever it was, and it was long. When Paulo Costa's came, set down the sheets, it said his name, Paulo Costa, it said powerlifter. That was it. And when he got into the ring, he had blonde hair back then, and he was beautiful. Oh, let me tell you, he was beautiful. He looked like a powerlifter. He looked like a powerlifter that got cardio in and never ate carbs. I mean, it was the most perfect build, but it was nothing that I could get excited about, nor could Vanderlei, because we've now been tipped off that he doesn't have any kind of belt. And it looks like maybe he doesn't have any kind of record. If he does, they didn't get it to the showrunner, because this sheet only says powerlifter. All right. So he wins. He wins and gets in the house, and we're all faced off. And I can't remember the picking process. I just can't remember. I know Vanderlei got him, but did not pick him early. And when the fights came and we beat him, I can't remember who we used to beat him. And the reason I tell you that is he just wasn't that consequential. And the year was 2013. Now, at the end of each practice, for my team to come in, Vanderlei's team needs to be done. Every day, twice a day, my team had to wait in the hallway because Boho Sheen, also known as Paulo Costa, was not done working out. Vanderlei was gone. The partners and the coaches were all gone. But we can hear through the door they're not done, and it's one guy. When the door finally opens, there was one guy left over when everybody else had hit the showers. And now that his team and Team Vanderlei hit the showers, hit the buses, are gone, and he's a straggler, he wants to know if he can join our team. And I don't mean switch sides. Can I get in on this practice? I'm out of the tournament. You have nothing to worry about. Can I come in here? Can I learn wrestling from you? He would ask me these things. He talked to Scott and Clayton and Jamie. Can I work my hands with you? Can I work my kicks with you? It was one of these things where Mr. Powerlifter is really starting to stand out. Great, we all get done. We go on about our lives. It's a few short years later. They call him the Eraser. He's got black hair now and not blonde. Paulo comes walking through that curtain, and they listed his record 11-0. Now, I'd seen him fight. I coached against him. We beat him. But those are exhibition matches. They don't go for you or against you on your official record. Next time they walk him out, he's 12-0. Next time they walk him out, he's 13-0. Next time they walk him out, it's opposite Yoel Romero, which isn't going to go well for anybody. He comes out of that ring 14-0. Nobody could touch him. Came from Brazil. Ground fighting capital of the world. He did all his work right here. Right here. Right here. Right here. Right here. Looked beautiful. Had good defense. Could push hard for 15 minutes, which is what we found out in the Yoel Romero fight. That was the scariest time, and they quit calling him the Eraser after that. You guys renamed him Terminator. But it was the conditioning he showed with Yoel Romero. Yoel is able to get everybody tired. Yoel tried to get him tired. Bohoshin stood right up to it. Now, I run into him. You guys see the press conference? Prior to the fight, he was in the white shirt, had the glasses, looked like $1 million. He almost knocked the table over. He was knocking it over because he couldn't sit still. And he kept getting fidgety, and then his knees hitting the table and shaking the table, and the water's going and shaking the table. He's so worked up. I went and spoke to him. I said, "What's going on?" He said, "Coach, I'm not locked in on this fight. I got a problem, Coach. I have a problem. I got to get it behind me. I'm working on it. I'm trying, Coach." And he's shaking as he's telling me. And it had to do with something with Chimaev, but he wouldn't go any further than that. He said, "I have a problem with Chimaev. I need to see this guy. I must find Chimaev." And he starts shaking as he's telling this. And he says, "Coach, I've got to get this under control. Roman is a very dangerous opponent. I've got to focus in on Roman." I said, "Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You got a Chimaev story, walk on that stage and get it off your chest. That way it's not eating at you and you can go focus on Roman. But you're right. The time to focus in on the task at hand is now." He said, "I try, Coach. Thank you. Thank you." We leave. I then go watch the press conference, and he's got 3 times the anxiety at the press conference as he did when I'm with him in the hallway. And he never got rid of it. He went out there and fought with it. But I will tell you, I want to call it the second best he's ever looked. I think it's hard to outdo that night with Yoel Romero. I think it's hard to overlook the night that he had with Luke Rockhold. But there was things that Bohoshin did that he's never done before, particularly being light on his feet. I mean, don't forget when you're talking about Roman Kopylov, you were talking about a world champion from an Eastern Bloc, a respected organization, kickboxing champion 3 times. You're talking about the guy that found Anthony Smith and was able to put him down, just for example. You're talking about a guy who goes and does fights like the one with Anthony Smith at 205, pulls back down to 185, gets locked in there in co-main event spots. Like, Roman is not to be played with. Roman is a very nasty guy with a very nasty skill set. But from day one in 1993, if a guy wants to be standing up, then your answer is that you go take him down. Paulo has that ability. Paulo didn't see it that way. He didn't see that kickboxing world skill. He didn't see some skill with the hands and the feet that he couldn't cope with and deal with. So he went out and traded with him. He went out and traded with him the entire time. He was putting some slips in there. He was being real light. He was slipping and he was adjusting and he was bouncing, but that's what he was doing to find his way in, to get these shots going. His conditioning was through the roof. I could not believe the pace. I could not believe how hard Bohoshin was doing with 2 minutes left in the fight. He looked like the same Paulo Costa that was there for the first 2 minutes of the fight. And where do you go from here? Because he did talk about the Chimaev situation, and there's a couple of times in life when you have to fight. It is not always a choice, as you're told. If you are licensed in unarmed combat and you are signed to the UFC, and another guy that is licensed in unarmed combat and signed to the UFC in your same weight class is DMing with your wife, you have to fight.